Coming up, our president announced big plans to Trumpify the Gaza Strip. It sounds intriguing, but that area isn't exactly Las Vegas, and I have some mixed feelings to work through with y'all. Plus, American taxpayers have been saddled with literally the burdens of the entire world, and we are sick of it. Next, trans activists gather outside of clinics to fight for mutilation and child abuse. Leave kids alone. And last, Texas Democratic Representative Jasmine Crockett hates white people, and she's not even trying to hide it. We'll get into it all, but first a word from our wonderful sponsor. My friends at Cozy Earth are elevating love's little moments this Valentine's Day with Cozy Earth's bamboo sheet set. These sheets are ultra soft, temperature regulating, sustainably crafted, and I'm telling you guys, my husband and I and our 2 fur babies, we love these sheets. They're soft without being hot, and they're cozy without making you sweat. They are the perfect Valentine's Day gift for your sweetheart or for anyone really. They also come with a really cute carrying case. You'll love them, take my word for it. Cozy Earth also blessed me with my new favorite pajama set. Cozy Earth's bamboo pajama sets are not only stylish, but they're also breathable and have a buttery soft fabric that you won't want to take off. I love lounging at home in them with my husband and the dogs, and they're always with me when I travel for work. They're cute and they're comfortable, and this is big, they're also breathable. Surprise your Valentine with Cozy Earth. Get 40% off at CozyEarth.com/Tommy with my code Tommy, T-O-M-I. And don't forget, if you're asked in a post-purchase survey, let them know you heard about Cozy Earth right here on Tomi Lahren is Fearless. Elevate your love with Cozy Earth. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the show on YouTube at Tomi Lahren is Fearless. Without further ado, the show starts now. Friends, here's what I cannot come to grips with. Families from third world countries scrimp and save to pay criminal organizations to smuggle them into the U.S. illegally. American families scrimp and save to pay for illegal immigrants who paid criminal organizations to smuggle them over here illegally. Plus, we fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign nation-building efforts, and a whole bunch of other stupid crap. But Democrats, they're all about it.
That USAID kept your family fed, kept them safe. But I wonder, because there are Americans who want the money that America spends abroad to be spent at home instead, and they're agreeing with this USAID move, and they don't want to help the Ilhan Omars or their families. They want to help their own families. Can you explain to those people why you think they should be interested in helping families like yours?
Well, I mean, I think what is really important for the American people to understand is that this money really amounts to less than 1% of what our budget is as a country. It is money that goes to the most vulnerable around the world. It is already appropriated and it can't be reappropriated. And so what we are seeing right now is Elon Musk, a billionaire who is attempting to take away resources from the poorest people around the world. This is someone who is not a government official. He wasn't elected. He's not appointed. He holds foreign debt and foreign interests. And so we should all look at this with cautious eyes.
Look, I know I'm just a simple girl, but it beats the hell out of me why we are sending our tax dollars to countries that hate us. I personally don't know why we're sending billions of our hard-earned tax dollars to other countries, period, but especially the countries that hate us, and for such stupid things. USAID doesn't need a reform, it needs a reckoning. But here's a twist. Last night, the president dropped a giant one on us. Big plans to rebuild the Gaza Strip without the terrorism and the bombs, if that's possible.
The only reason the Palestinians want to go back to Gaza is they have no alternative. It's right now a demolition site. This is just a demolition site. Virtually every building is down. They're living under fallen concrete that's very dangerous and very precarious. They instead can occupy all of a beautiful area with homes and safety, and they can live out their lives in peace and harmony instead of having to go back and do it again. The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site, and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years.
Mara Gaza. Intriguing, but I have questions. And I'm sure my friend Rob O'Neill, the host of The Operator with Rob O'Neill, he joins me now, also former SEAL Team 6 member. So you're the perfect person for me to ask about all of this. I really want to know, Rob, not taking our support for Donald Trump and all of this out of it, do the people of the Middle East, could they sustain a Gaza Strip that looked more like Las Vegas, even Dubai? We know it's possible. But with your experience in the area and the people of the area, does this sound like a plausible reality, even in a best case scenario?
Well, thanks for having me, Tommy. It's always great to be here. The Middle East is not afraid of having a Las Vegas style. I mean, look at Dubai. It's one of the coolest cities in the world. You can ski in the desert in Dubai. There's all kinds of stuff you can do there. I've been to Manama, Bahrain, too, where I've run into, dudes from Saudi Arabia that said, we're here to have alcohol because Allah's eyes do not see on Bahrain. So they're not afraid of it. The problem is the people. Nobody wants the Palestinians. Everywhere they go, they've been refugees pretty much forever. They cause trouble. There's civil wars everywhere they go. I mean, the Queen of Jordan is a Palestinian, and she doesn't even want him. So that's an issue. And Egypt's building a bigger wall than we didn't have for 40 years. So the problem's the people. If you can somehow get into their mind that they live on some of the best land, the best water in the world, and they could be rich based off tourism alone, all you got to do is stop cutting heads off and burning people alive and blowing them up and stuff like that. You got to get to the sources of the education, the sources of these. People are not born hating. They're not born racist. They're taught. You only know what you're taught. And they're taught from a very young age that the Jewish people are bad. America's the great Satan and all that stuff too. I believe it was like $20 million U.S. aid was paying for Sesame Street in Iraq. I'm not necessarily against that because I think it's all about education and teaching people to be nice. But what is Grover and Oscar the Grouch teaching them? Is it because in the Gaza Strip, they teach kids that beheading is good and they worship martyrs. Instead of posters of LeBron James or Michael Jordan back in my day, there's posters of martyrs, as they call them, suicide bombers, people that have blown up innocent people or all that stuff. So that their heads are out of whack, and it's proof by a lot of the nations in the Middle East are starting to thrive because they realize they have stuff that other people want, and they're keeping their religion at one end, but it's the fanatics that are ruining it everywhere they go.
See, that's my concern here. I would be all for an area of the Middle East and the Gaza Strip that looked like a Dubai, that looked like a Las Vegas, that was a Mara Gaza of sorts. I think that would be fantastic for the world. I think that would be much preferable to what it is now. But here is my concern. I'm concerned that the U.S. and other nations put money into this project, and then the bombers come and they level it again. And then it's like, okay, now we're back to square one. You have to want that area to be peaceful. You have to want that area to be prosperous. And this isn't a new idea. This area could be peaceful and prosperous, but it hasn't been able to achieve that, as you mentioned, because a lot of the people that currently reside there would rather see it blow up, and they'd rather kill Jews and Americans and Westerners than have a Mara Gaza or a Las Vegas or a Riviera of the Middle East. So this is my concern. I think it's a great goal, but I just don't know how attainable it is, and I don't know how much money we're willing to part with to build it up, with the understanding that it could very well be leveled in due time.
Yeah, I mean, attainability is the tough one, too, because you got to figure the infrastructure that Hamas has already been building for, 50 years? Or, I mean, even the PLO before them. But it's no secret what they do. You got to, and all the mines and stuff and anti-everything stuff. It's a pain. But I think the answer for the amount of American dollars is zero. I think, the way we've always done it has been we've paid U.S. tax dollars to make us sort of a forward defense type thing. But that's the way a lot of people like Al-Qaeda saw it. We're trying to take over their land. So we need to get the Saudi Arabians, the people from Oman, God forbid Qatar, which, they're a state sponsor of terror. But once they get their stuff involved, their money involved, their resources involved, the Hamas is not, well, it's hard to say who they'd listen to, but it'd be a lot better to have someone like Saudi Arabia funding this, seeing what could potentially happen. And the only issue is that this is a one way maybe in a long time to bring peace, but there are a lot of people getting very, very rich, including this country, who don't want peace because that's, fighting and the threat of fear And the threat of a war makes them rich. And there's a lot of rich people taking all this money from the UN that's supposed to go to the Palestinians. It's not going to the Palestinians. It's going to the rich guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's another topic that we're going to get into on the USAID of it all. But just to kind of wrap up this conversation on what Donald Trump said last night, the left is spinning over this. They're calling it ethnic cleansing, a gentrification of the Middle East, pushing out the Palestinians so that you can rebuild it and make money off of it. And then, they're really upset at this. They would rather the Palestinians go back and live in rubble, I guess, and resume, bomb making. I'm not sure what they see the alternative as, though. Hamas has already said, we're going to keep doing October 7th over and over again. Yes, there is a ceasefire now. There was a ceasefire on October 6th. So I'm not sure what the alternative is. If you're just going to return the Palestinian people to the same area, keep sending millions and billions of dollars that's going to be funneled into terrorist organizations, have the people live in rubble, hate the United States, hate Jews. Donald Trump is right in a sense when he says we just can't keep doing this over and over again. Maybe we try something revolutionary.
Yeah, I mean, it would be good too. And it's nice to have a commander in chief who knows the art of the deal, because he might just be saying this to see how people respond. He might not be serious, because this was a lofty goal. When I heard it last night, I had to rewind it. Did he just say that? But he's saying it. But I mean, it's one of those things too. It's the Palestinians are to blame too. They elected Hamas. Most of them support Hamas. You got to get rid of that too. And for us to pretend that our aid's going anywhere, it's the same thing as how was Little Red Riding Hood surprised, couldn't recognize the wolf just because he was wearing a grandmother's hat. It's come on, you know who the bad guys are. It's not hard. And we're finding out right now. I mean, as soon as you tell the truth, people that hate it just start freaking out. People that are on the take start freaking out. You don't throw tantrums if you haven't done anything wrong. And what we're seeing right now is it's like we're being robbed. It's like a bank is being robbed. Someone films it, they catch them, and then everyone blames the person that caught the robber, not the robber. That's all that's happening. I'd like to see it. I might even go over there again.
Yeah, it might be a different situation. I mean, it's a real aspirational goal. Probably take a lot of time, a lot of money, but that region has money. That's why this is so perplexing. It's why do you want this area to be such a crap hole when it could be something great? And I think you know better than I, when people start having a passion for life, when people start making money, when people are able to take care of themselves and accomplish things and have goals and fulfill their potential, then all of a sudden they don't want to kill everyone around them. It's a great goal. And I think that the terrorists and the sponsors of terrorism around the world, that's really concerning to them, because it's oh my God, if these people are actually able to attain some sort of a normal way of life, then all of a sudden they might not want to bomb and hate people anymore. And that's really confusing to some that are only used to bombing and hating people. I do want to talk about Iran, because that was the other part of this earlier in the day. Another stern warning, what would happen to Iran should they try to assassinate Donald Trump, or should they try to take out any American leaders. Let's play the clip.
You say that you're unhappy to sign it. If it's Iran and their proxies who have threatened to retaliate against you and your team by killing you guys for taking out Soleimani.
Well, they haven't done that, and that would be a terrible thing for them to do. Not because of me. If they did that, they would be obliterated. That would be the end. I've left instructions. If they do it, they get obliterated. There won't be anything left. And they shouldn't be able to do it.
Rob, in my mind, I'm visualizing this, and I'm visualizing a note that was left in the Resolute desk. If I were to be assassinated by Iran, this is what you do. I think it's fantastic. It's a pretty clear message. It's not this previous administration that was all about talking in circles and making veiled threats, but not really. I mean, he's just saying, listen, if you do something, your part of the world will be turned into glass. So, mess around and find out. I'm wondering your thoughts. Yeah. Do you think Iran gets back in line? Do you think we see some kind of retaliation? Yeah. What do you think happens here?
Yeah, they're going to get back in line too, because they're used to playing with our politicians as well. And, we'll talk big, and then sometimes in the middle of the night, we'll ship billions of dollars in cash to him. That's the way it's been. But now they've got a guy that does what he says, and he doesn't mess around, to the point where he'll tell you stuff that might not be true and know how you respond. It's not a secret that if something happens to anyone in his administration, Iran's done. And I don't have anything against the Iranian people, because people, most of the places I've been have been good. It's the bad actors who are in charge, and that's the clerics in Iran right now. And I mean, you get rid of Iran, the theocratic leadership over there in Iran, you'd be surprised how much peace would spread in that part of the world. Obviously, you got to deal with ISIS because I don't even want to get into Iraq. But that's all just the status quo. Now that they realize, I mean, we've seen what Israel can do when they want to. And Israel hasn't wanted to wipe them off the map. They could. President Biden didn't want to give them 2,000-pound bombs because they were saying you don't need those in Gaza. Well, guess what? They're not for Gaza. This is to destroy Iran. And that's what they'll do. And President Trump will do it. And this is not messing around. I mean, you're talking about a guy who killed their senior leader as far as militarily with a drone that took off from the same airport where that dude landed. That's pretty dope. And we got him back.
It's just wild what can happen when you have a president that believes in the United States and is willing to use the power of the United States to put the world in check and on notice. That's how you avoid wars. I'm sick of spending money, sending it to these countries that hate us, hoping that they'll like us, and hoping that maybe spreading DEI in Ecuador and drag shows and trans this and trans that is going to somehow make people that hate us like us a little bit more. I mean, that's supposed to be the whole purpose of this USAID. It's for national security, Rob, because if we spread the rainbow mafia throughout the world, suddenly everybody will love us. And the Democrats are really freaking out about it. Ilhan Omar, she said, we've got to keep funding the rest of the world. What's your take on this? Is it okay if we defund some of these programs?
Yeah, we should defund most of the people that we're funding right now. We're giving money to terrorist organizations. If we're not, we're giving it to a slush funds that our politicians launder and give it back to their friends. How much money did the Clintons spend in Haiti? That place doesn't look any better. Again, a tropical paradise. You're dealing with people in our government who measure success by how much of other people's money they can spend. They don't run businesses. They don't have a payroll. It just keeps pumping in. They got paid every day during COVID. It's not a big deal. And Ilhan Omar, I mean, USAID helped her out because it allowed her to marry her brother and then move here, evading every sense of immigration. But I mean, my thoughts on a transgender opera might be entertaining. I don't have a problem with that. But I mean, what we should be doing, the first part of the clearing operation for peace is send some of the queers for Palestine over there so they can meet Hamas and the Palestinians, see how they get treated. That'd be kind of nice for just a little teaspoon of reality for them.
I would be for that. I think that would be an educational opportunity. We could rebrand that as learning abroad, study abroad programs. I think that they should take part in it.
I think the Democrats would call that reimagining.
Reimagining. I like that. Reimagining study abroad. Another thing that I want to talk to you about is something else that Donald Trump's doing to take care of business, sending some of these violent, criminal, illegal aliens to Guantánamo. And of course, the left is freaking out. Don't send the criminal aliens, murderers, and terrorists to Guantánamo. It's not nice. They don't have culturally appropriate food there for them. I think it's a great idea. I think we should keep doing it. You have obviously much more expertise in this area than me, but what message does that send to the illegals that might want to cross the border if they think that they might be getting a plane ride over to Guantánamo Bay?
Well, I mean, I've been saying the entire time, it's not the wall that's going to stop people. It's the incentives to get here. And he's turning them away. He's turning the caravans around. 10,000 troops from Mexico are now on the border. And there's a maximum security prison somewhere in South America. I forget which country, probably Venezuela, something like that, where it's horrifying. It looks bad and the crime rate's gone way down. I got to check my country on that. But I'd rather go to Guantánamo Bay than that place because Guantánamo is at least on a tropical island. But I mean, it's proof that you're not going to stay here. And even the threat of that is changing it. In about 2 weeks, Donald Trump's done more than a lot of presidents have. And it's because he's doing what he was elected to do. He doesn't get out there and sell snake oil and tell you what you want to hear and get elected. Just other guys that, who started impeaching Trump in 2017, Al Green. He's trying to impeach him again in 2025. Good to see he's looking out for Texas. All he does is impeach. But we got to have someone that's serious, who's not on the take, who's doing it legally, and he's approving everything. They're spinning up about Elon Musk. Donald Trump approves everything. Elon Musk is an advisor. I didn't hear the left-wing media complaining when George Soros was funding Antifa. Yeah, no kidding. I think it's just an interesting concept as well. And I've been seeing a lot of this. We knew that the left was going to freak out as soon as the deportation started happening. They're marching, sometimes violently in the streets of certain cities, a day without immigrants. Interesting, they don't call it a day without illegal immigrants because everybody would actually be like, yeah, that's the point. They call it a day without immigrants. And I'm seeing all these news headlines, and I go and comment on them because they really piss me off, Rob, where it's like, what we can do to protect immigrants. Such and such mayor is protecting immigrants. And I go in the comments and I say,
immigrants don't need your protection because if you are a legal immigrant, you have the protections of an American citizen. It's the illegals that need to be worried about it. But, I don't see a problem with sending illegal aliens back. I hope that the public heart and mind stays on this track. Are you worried it's going to start to shift the more we see, the crying people about the family separation and the blah, 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 consequences of their own actions coming back to bite them in the ass?
Well, the good news is the truth is coming out, and a lot of that started with Elon Musk buying Twitter, turning it into X. Because, people are starting to realize, you'll see stuff out there, too. I saw one today, a meme or something that said, good luck, red states. Now you have to pick vegetables for $5 an hour. It's like, oh, sorry, Democrats, you lost your slave labor, and you're proud of that. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, they're changing the language just to make it something else, like the Affordable Care Act or the Green New Deal, whatever they called it, inflation reduction, all that nonsense. They change their titles, change their names, and all they do is tell people stuff over and over, so they believe it. I mean, it's very simple. And if you start talking truth, then you offend stupid people. But if you illegally enter this country, you've broken the law. You are a criminal. Not hard to understand. And they're dealing with the 14th Amendment now. That was for people born into slavery, that you become an American citizen. People are taking advantage of that too. It's being looked at, but we have someone in DC now that is actually putting America first. And we're seeing right now a strong America has a stable planet. And it's just that simple. And we're going to have that.
Boy, I hope so. And I hope we can get it done quickly as well. I mean, it shouldn't take long with Tom Homan at the helm there.
Yes.
Just from your personal experience, we've heard, and Tom Homan has said, listen, the cartels are going to start getting more violent because we're taking away their money. You don't allow them to bring in drugs and traffic people in. They're going to start getting real angry about this, and they're going to start violently attacking our Border Patrol agents and other folks that are down trying to patrol the border and keep it safe and secure. They've already done it in certain circumstances using kamikaze drones, this, that, and the other. Tom Homan expects it to get a lot worse. Well, Donald Trump designated these cartels as terrorist organizations. So I'm wondering, from your expertise, I'm not saying we should do this or we are doing this, but how long would it take a SEAL team to go to the border and just take care of business and just end this if we are and our agents are under attack by these cartels?
Well, I don't think we even need a SEAL team, and we're tiptoeing on some sensitive stuff there, because we have way better drones than they do. That's all it would take. They're terrorists now. We can hit them with anything. We got Reapers, we got Predators, we got all kinds of stuff. We can take care of their drones with weapons they don't even know we have. They do not want to fight with the United States. However, I don't want to see our military engaging the cartels either, for a number of reasons, because they're serious and they're brutal and they're here. And people need to remember, just because we have a real president in the White House now doesn't mean that the cartels don't have people here too. And I'd hate to, because they'll get brutal with a lot of stuff that I don't want to bring up because I don't want to give them ideas. Could a SEAL team or Delta go in there and take out leadership? Absolutely. I mean, we have the assets to do it. I don't think it'll come to that, but there's ways to have the Mexican government and some of our shadow agencies that actually believe in America do some good stuff there. So through intel, through good stuff on the ground, we could take the cartels out, no problem.
Yeah, I think that the message just needs to be sent that if you start trying to attack Border Patrol agents, you will be hit with something that the likes of you've never seen before. And it's just a powerful message. And I don't think that they want to mess with the United States military. Like, I understand that they are brutal and they're vicious, but they're not the United States of America. No. And they should recognize and understand that very clearly. I'm sure that they're going to get the picture pretty soon here. Last thing I want to talk to you about, it's a big day for women. Donald Trump's going to sign an executive order saying that men don't belong in our sports and in our spaces. Now, if you would have told me 10 years ago, Rob, that Donald Trump would be perhaps signing the most feminist executive order maybe of all time, I think the left would have said that that was crazy talk. But here we are. He's going to sign that today. Of course, he's already saying we're not doing any more trans surgeries on minors. It's a big win, not only for children, but for women. And do you think that the left is going to protest this too?
Yes, the left is going to protest free French toast. They're going to protest anything Donald Trump or the Republicans try to put out there, because that's what they do. They throw fits, they spend your money, they complain. That's pretty much it. Most of their ideas turn to crap, and it costs more money, and it gets us further into debt. Yeah, they're going to complain about this, but I mean, think about this group, trust the science. This is the most basic science there is. There's a man and a woman. And men shouldn't play women's sports, shouldn't be beating up women, shouldn't be smashing them with a spike with a volleyball on the face. It's just common. I have 4 daughters, and it would be a way different animal if some dude tries to go in the bathroom. I don't give a crap about politically correct or who I'm going to offend. It's bad. There's a lot of people that feel like that way too. It's very, and I mean, just the insult, having raised daughters, watching these girls I mean, all these women that are getting taken advantage of, that work their butts off and sit from 4 a.m. until whenever, and just have some dude show up and he just takes the gold. It's messed up. Takes scholarships, takes all that kind of stuff away. It's really, really bad.
Yeah, it's just, to me, it's unfathomable how we really got here. And I see the other side saying that, well, if you want to keep biological males out of women's sports, you're going to have to start doing chromosome tests. You're going to have to start doing genital tests and checks. And I'm thinking to myself, Rob, I'm only 32 years old, but I think maybe prior to the last 10 years when this became all the rage, I think we were able to have women's sports in spaces be actual women's sports in spaces without doing chromosome tests or checking people's pants for what they were packing. I feel like this is a pretty common sense thing. Like, let's just do what we did prior to 10 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, let's bring back the 80s. Wasn't that hard? I mean, let's bring back I mean, look at it's just crazy too that a lot of the women that are involved in sports, for fear of being called a racist, they don't want to stand up for women. These are blatant dudes taking advantage of, and I mean, they hopped on the bandwagon with the hashtag Me Too and everyone being afraid of labeled and canceled. And just, I mean, they went to the well too often. It's like people are just over it. And I hope this works. It should work. I mean, there's a lot of great women out there trying to do the right thing, and it's just the for some reason the left and their lunacy is they bet on the wrong horse every time, and then when it loses, they scream about it and say they won.
Yeah. Well, I want to play a little clip because I had to get to this one. There are some protests outside of clinics that will no longer perform trans surgeries, or they should not perform any more trans surgeries on minors. And there's an actress from Sex and the City named Cynthia Nixon. She's run for office before as well. Mm-hmm. But here she is talking about how damn near everybody in her family is trans. And it's just a wonderful coincidence. Let's play the clip.
Most importantly, I am here today as the mother of a proud trans man. As the aunt of a proud trans man. My best friend's kid is trans, and my kid's best friend is trans. But since the inauguration, and I would say actually since the election, nothing has made me feel so good as coming around the corner today and seeing you all standing here fighting for trans rights. It's so hard to know. We're being attacked on so many fronts. It is so hard to know where and how to react first. But today I know this is where I'm planting my flag.
Rob, everybody that she knows is trans. That seems like quite the lottery to hit.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like it's the kids' problem. It seems like the adults' problem. And that's why there's so many adults out there just jumping around and screaming and shouting because all my kids are trans. You know why? Because they're all in right now. Because they ruined their kids' lives. And now they have to live with that. They can't admit when the kid's 30, well, you know what? I was wrong. Sorry about that. They have to be all in. They don't have a choice. They made a horrible bet. They ruined a lot of lives, and it's really sad to see, especially someone that I think is probably not dumb, just really thinking that you know this many trans kids, or did you guys just sit around and drink the Kool-Aid and tell them they are because they're 10?
Yeah, again, there seems to be a lot of narcissistic adults that want attention, that want to feel like they're activists, and so they convince their kids, and they use their kids as props, really, to play out some kind of delusion. I think it's child abuse. Donald Trump's ending it. You guys can march and protest all you want, but guess what? We're not doing this anymore. Rob, I always appreciate you being here. It's a perfect day for you to be here to talk about all these things. Please come back soon. I really appreciate your time.
Of course. Great to see you, Tomi. Anytime. Thank you.
God bless. Folks, Texas Democrat Representative Jasmine Crockett openly drags white men for the 200th time, and someone needs to say something, so I will. It's time for Final Thoughts, sponsored by Cozy Earth. So look, we have our fair share of attention seekers on the right, folks in elected and high positions who would rather make news than make America great again. And yes, even a couple who are desperately trying to soft launch their version of a Bravo show in Congress or even over at DHS. But then there's Representative Jasmine Crockett, who takes the cake, or the whole damn bakery, really. Not only does she have a track record of being loud and annoying, she's also just blatantly racist. And if she doesn't hate white people, she's doing a really poor job of convincing us otherwise. Here is Miss Crockett performing her favorite sketch, White People Are the Problem.
I am tired of the white tears. Listen, if you are competent, you are not concerned. When I walk into Congress every single day, you know why I don't feel a way and why you can't make me doubt who I am is because I know that I had to work 10 times as hard as they did just to get into the seat. When you look and you compare me to Marjorie Taylor Greene or me to Lauren Boebert, there is no comparison. And that is the life that we have always lived. So the only people that are crying are the mediocre white boys that have been beaten out by people that historically have had to work so much harder. This is why they don't want us to have education.
Can you just imagine if, say, a white male congressman were to go on our channel and lament mediocre black women? Something tells me that'd land like a lead balloon. And also, shame on CNN. They aren't even cosplaying as a news network anymore.
President Trump is appointing Darren Beattie to a top State Department role. I know many people remember who Darren Beattie is. He was fired in 2018 for being a speechwriter. He was speaking at a conference attended by white nationalists. And then a few months ago, he posted this, Congresswoman: competent white men must be in charge if you want things to work. Unfortunately, our entire national ideology is predicated on coddling the feelings of women and minorities and demoralizing competent white men. Your reaction to his appointment?
He needs to go. I mean, this is very simple. We right now have a white supremacist that is sitting in the White House. He is backed up by other white supremacists. And if you really want to know who the criminals are in this country, you can Google it. You don't have to trust me. But the people that commit 80% of the most violent crimes in this country are white supremacists. Yet for whatever reason, they sit and they serve at the pleasure of the president. They are the ones that were there on January 6th, tearing our democracy down physically. And now we have them tearing us down right here from within. Here is the problem.
Of course, Congresswoman, to interrupt you, but President Trump, of course, has denied any allegations he's a white supremacist, and that's why he apparently fired what he. I know your point, but he did fire Darren Beattie in reaction, they believe, in part to his attendance at that conference. Does that change your opinion in any way?
No, it doesn't change my opinion because we saw what he literally recently just posted.
Did anyone over there at CNN want to fact check any of what Jasmine Crockett said? Is it a wonder CNN is hemorrhaging its audience? You know, just the other day I did a full commentary on how conservatives need to stop blaming everything on DEI, and I meant that. But when the heck are those on the left going to get the message that representatives like Miss Jasmine over there and her hideous messaging are unacceptable? She is dripping with racial hostility, and yet she has the audacity to call everyone else around her a racist or a white supremacist. Not to mention the fact that she tweets filth like this as a sitting member of the United States Congress. I mean, just read that. The F-bombs, really. Cardi B has more class, and she recently tweeted about piercing her butt crack, but at least she isn't funded by the American taxpayer. Texas District 30. What the heck are you going to do with this one? Get it together. Those are my final thoughts. Please be sure to tune in tomorrow live at 1 p.m. Eastern. Catch full episodes of this show on Fox Nation at your leisure. Please like and subscribe to the YouTube channel at Tomi Lahren is Fearless. From Nashville, God bless and take care.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you want more of my hottest takes, must-see conversations, and of course, my final thoughts, click here and make sure you subscribe here so you never miss a beat. I'll be here every weekday, and I hope you'll join me.